Okay, let's dive right into this. Picture this. You're standing in front of a wall absolutely covered in sticky notes. Each one is a different idea, a little spark of inspiration. And honestly, as a filmmaker or really any kind of storyteller, generating those ideas is often the easiest part of the whole process. But here is the ultimate creator's dilemma that we're tackling today. How do you actually know which of those sticky notes is going to work on screen? I mean, which one is actually worth your precious time, your limited budget, and your immense creative energy?
Well, that brings us right to our focus for this explainer: choosing the right story, the film development blueprint. Our primary goal today is to give you the exact professional methodology used for evaluating and selecting a story idea. We want to make sure you have the tools to really scrutinize your concepts before you sit down to write a single scene. That way, you're never wasting resources on an impossible or just flat-out unworkable project ever again.
So here's our roadmap for today's funnel. First up, the filmmaker's dilemma. Second, the 5-question story filter. Third, putting ideas to the test. Fourth, common beginner mistakes. And fifth, the professional perspective.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the filmmaker's dilemma, or why ideas are cheap.
We've got to acknowledge a really hard truth right out of the gate here. Finding ideas is easy, but choosing the right story, that is incredibly difficult. I want you to think of this as the exact funnel that professional filmmakers use. They start super broad in step 1, just generating tons of ideas. But notice they don't just jump straight to filming. Professionals insert 3 absolutely vital steps in between: evaluate, choose, and develop. They compare, they refine, and yeah, they let a lot of cheap ideas go, so that only the truly producible, emotionally resonant ones actually make it to step 5.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 5-question story filter, which is really our core framework.
Before investing months of work, and honestly, before writing even one line of dialogue, professionals push their concepts through 5 distinct filters just to see if an idea has true potential. Filter number 1 asks, does the idea have conflict? So the crucial point is, conflict is the absolute engine of storytelling. And when we say conflict, we don't just mean a physical fight or some huge action sequence. It can be a really difficult decision, a deep personal struggle, a clash of values, a social problem, or even a challenge from nature, like a climber facing a mountain. Without conflict, a story simply feels flat because nothing is changing. Zero conflict equals zero story movement.
Now, filter number 2 asks, why should the audience care? You have to identify the specific emotional takeaways. Ask yourself, will your film make the audience laugh? Will they learn something entirely new? Are they going to feel inspired? Or will they literally be forced to question their deepest beliefs? A good story gives viewers a definitive emotional reason to stay in their seats until the very end. If you don't know what emotion your audience is going to experience, your idea just isn't ready.
Our third filter is originality. Now, I see a lot of creators get stuck right here because they think originality means they have to invent something completely, entirely new from scratch. But in reality, originality simply equals a different perspective, and that creates a new story. Look, a lot of stories have been told before. What makes yours unique is your specific culture, your distinct voice, your lived experiences, and your observations. You are what makes the version different from absolutely everyone else's.
Moving down to the 4th filter, and this is a big one. Can you actually make it? This is all about practical feasibility constraints. Can you actually get access to the locations you need? Do you have the right equipment? Are you going to be able to find the cast and crew? Does your budget actually match the scale of your big idea? And realistically, can you finish it on time? Just remember this: the best beginner film isn't the biggest idea, it's the best idea that you can realistically complete.
And finally, the 5th filter. What is the theme? Theme is that deeper meaning or lasting emotional value that's kind of hidden behind the surface story. It's the hidden message. For example, sure, your surface story might literally be about climbing a mountain, but the deeper theme is actually exploring the concept of human perseverance. Or maybe it's a documentary about a small village, but the theme is really about preserving a fading culture. Theme is the magic ingredient that transforms a basic plot into something with lasting value.
All right, Section 3, putting ideas to the test. Let's look at a real-world application.
So we've got our 5 filters: conflict, emotion, originality, feasibility, and theme. Let's see what actually survives the filter by looking at 2 ideas side by side. Idea A is, a man walks through a market. Now compare that to idea B. An elderly craftsman struggles to keep a disappearing skill alive while his grandchildren dream of leaving. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference between a surface idea and a fully developed concept. I mean, idea A might be a visually interesting shot, but it has zero clear conflict, absolutely no goal, and no emotional direction. But idea B? It has high conflict between the generations, it's got deep emotion, clear feasibility, and a really powerful theme about preserving heritage. Strong stories aren't always bigger, they are just more meaningful.
Which brings us to Section 4, Common Beginner Mistakes. We call this the shiny object syndrome.
It's super crucial to know the pitfalls of ignoring this framework, because falling into these traps is incredibly common when you're just starting out. Amateurs often jump at a big idea just because it sounds visually impressive, but they have zero plan for feasibility, which almost inevitably leads straight to an unfinished film. Or they try to tell way too many stories all at once. The professional path, however, starts with a highly focused story that has a clear purpose and realistic production parameters, which results in a completed film. A simple, beautifully made film is always going to be stronger than a massive, ambitious project that you can never actually finish.
Finally, Section 5, the professional perspective, which is all about emotion over spectacle.
When all is said and done, what really separates the pros from the amateurs? Well, it comes down to one really powerful truth. Audiences remember emotions far longer than special effects. Now, what's really interesting about this is that before you ever ask yourself, will this look visually impressive, you absolutely must ask, will this make someone feel something? If the answer is yes, and you've successfully passed through that 5-question filter, you are already well on your path to creating a genuinely meaningful film. Emotion is always the ultimate goal.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought. What exact emotion will your audience remember from your story? Once you can answer that, and you've finally found that one sticky note on your wall that actually passes the tests for conflict, audience, originality, feasibility, and theme, well, you're ready for the next step. Are you ready to capture the entire heart of that chosen story into a single, powerful sentence? Are you ready to write your logline? Keep that in the back of your mind as you evaluate your ideas, and we will explore exactly how to do that next time.